to our second Tiger TV tailgate show of the season. I'm Caroline Fenton, joined by Zach Nunez and Kayla Thomas. Y'all, how are y'all feeling about this second in-state matchup of the season?
I am so excited. I mean, coming off of a huge win like we did last weekend, I'm ready for Louisiana Tech.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a little bit tougher than people expect, but it should still be a win.
Yeah, I respect that. I'm excited, and there's something about coming off of a big win that the next week is just, there's something in the air that's more exciting, and this is a sold-out game, so I'm super excited for this one. So, although it's an SEC matchup, Louisiana Tech, like you said, is not a team to not take seriously, and Coach O is not messing around with these Bulldogs. Let's take a look at what he has to say about this game with Louisiana.
Winner, well coached, spread, dangerous. Went down to South Carolina, played them 17-16. They're going to compete. A lot of players on that team can play on our team at LSU. Louisiana Tech has a lot of pro prospects on their team. Their receivers are excellent. Their rushers are excellent. They have a good runner, good quarterback, well coached.
So like Coach O said, Tech was beating South Carolina for a majority of the game. I think South Carolina had 2 or 3 missed field goal opportunities, and as we know, field goals are super important, as we learned last week. So what are y'all thinking about this game?
Well, just going back to last week, I mean, I lost all of my nails. I was so nervous. I mean, 3 seconds and he kicks a field goal like that. I mean, he might give me a heart attack today if that happens again.
Right, and LA Tech isn't really a school to mess around with. I mean, they produce so many, NFL players. I mean, one of Boston Scott is on the Saints practice squad, and he was a really good player and everything. And they've had a 1,000-yard rusher for the past 3 seasons, so not anything really to mess around with.
Right, exactly. But if there's anything that I've seen, kind of the difference between last season and this season with LSU's team, it's that like growth and development.
Absolutely.
They have that maturity this year that, last year they may have looked at this team, this Louisiana Tech team, and thought, let's look forward to next week to Ole Miss. But, this maturity and the growth, they've learned that there is no team that you cannot take seriously.
Absolutely.
Right. I think teams are starting to take us a little bit more seriously as well.
Exactly.
The win against Auburn last week was very big. I mean, it boosted LSU's rankings up into the top 10. We're at number 6 now, and once the college football playoff poll comes out, I mean, we could see ourselves sitting in playoff position. And when that time comes, I mean, the whole team might be able to thank Cole Tracy for that. I mean, let's take a look at his kick and how he's been handling the pressure and everything.
Cole Tracy to win it for LSU. Kick on the way, and it is dead center.
The story of how Cole Tracy got to LSU to hit the game winner at Auburn is one that starts at Newberry Park High School, where Tracy was an accurate kicker but lacked the leg strength to receive any Division I offers. Tracy told Sports Illustrated that he wanted to go somewhere that made him feel wanted. So Tracy decided to attend Assumption College in Worcester, Massachusetts, almost 3,000 miles from his high school. While at Assumption, head coach Bob Chesney encouraged Tracy to do the same workout as the rest of the team, which made Tracy's leg much stronger. Tracy's success at Assumption gave him the confidence to tackle the largest crowd he has ever seen at AT&T Stadium.
That uprights are the exact same size, and football is football, but after that I really got comfortable and even told my older Josh, I was like, I've done this multiple times.
Where Tracy is confident, Tiger fans are grateful. After Tracy's game-winning kick, LSU fans donated nearly $6,000 to Assumption, thanking the school for helping the Tigers win. But Tracy knows he has to play well for fans to keep cheering him on.
You have a good game and people are going to love you, and you have a bad game and people are going to hate you. So I kind of like to just block that out as much as possible and carry on to performing well this week.
Going from playing for a Division II school in Massachusetts to playing in AT&T Stadium in Jordan-Hare, it's really not an easy adjustment to make, but Cole Tracy seems like he's been handling it very well since he's been a Tiger.
Yeah, and absolutely, if I could be anyone right now, I would want to be Cole Tracy. After that win against Auburn, I cannot imagine what his night was like.
Right.
Yes.
But coming up, we'll have more on those close relationships that the LSU football team has with one another. Welcome back to the Tiger TV Tailgate Show. Well, she's known as the Dean of Coaches at LSU because of her impressive record as a head gymnastics coach, and she's joined by one of the LSU greats. We have McKenna Kelly here. I'm so honored to be in the presence of 2 amazing women on LSU's campus.
Oh, thank you, but look, I love this show. I love being on this show.
I'm so glad. And somebody said I was trying to get some guests together for the show, and they said, Dee Bro, we'd be more than happy to do it. So I knew my main girl that I could go to, so thank y'all. We really appreciate it.
Well, of course.
So y'all are coming up such an amazing season. The reigning SEC champs. What was that season like for y'all?
You answer that.
I mean, personally for me, it was completely different. Not what I envisioned at all, but, you know, when the cards are played that way, you got to step up. You got to do what you got to do for your team, and everyone's got a different role, and I just had to play it differently. But I think our team really rallied together. A lot of new faces. We had a really young team, but I think we really did the job. Yeah.
You know, she was injured last year, and Achilles tendon is a scary injury. So I think, you know, winning the conference season and winning the conference championship without McKenna was a huge feat. And we're looking forward to her senior year now, having her back in, and really the challenge of getting her on top of her game and back in. The contribution that she made as a student athlete last year on the sideline was irreplaceable. So to have her on the court when we're competing is going to be great.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, an injury obviously hurts physically, but it also can do a number on you mentally. How did you keep your spirit so high? You have such a great attitude about it.
Thank you. There was one point where I was like, okay, I can embrace the injury, I can let it embrace me, and I wasn't going to let that happen. I still knew at some point I'd have to get back into the sport. I knew my team needed me. It was just the matter of what role I was playing. It was just different.
Right.
But I would go into practice, I'd mentally do my routines through my head, knowing I had to get back. I think it's important to keep your mind still sharp in the game. Physically, maybe it's a little different, but mentally, it's all the same.
Yeah, and it is a mental sport. Everything is a mental sport. Like, getting up here kind of gets me mentally sometimes, too.
Yeah. You know, it's mental, but it's got to be automatic. Right. You know, you can't, in gymnastics, and like any sport, if you're thinking about it, if you're trying, you're failing.
Yeah.
It's got to be automatic. It's got to be something that becomes intrinsic. It just happens. It's organic. It happens because you've practiced it so many times. You react to what's going on around you, and you're going to have success.
So what are some of y'all's goals going into this season? I know that you maybe weren't able to achieve some of those last seasons, so going into your senior season, going into this next huge season of the reigning SEC champs, you've got a big reputation to follow you. So what are some things that y'all are looking forward to?
You never want to go backwards. You want to defend your title. You want to continue to dominate in this conference, which is the toughest gymnastics conference in the country. And then you want to go to the national championships. We're hosting our regional championships, and we're hosting the SEC championships in New Orleans. So we want to dominate. We want to dominate at home, and then go to the national championships in Fort Worth, which is her home state. And have a tremendous showing. And if that's good enough to win it, our goal is to be our very best by the end of the season.
I love that. I do have to ask, talking about the national championships, as a St. Louis native, how did y'all like the city?
We liked it. We didn't get to see nearly enough of it.
I'm sure.
We went in that big building that has that beautiful restaurant at the top and overlooks the river.
Yes.
So, I mean, we did some nice things. But, you know, when you're there for the championships, it's blinders on.
One track mind, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, I'm glad that St. Louis treated y'all well, at least. And Dee Dee, you said in the past that you used to pass out tickets at Winn-Dixie parking lot, just trying to pack the PMAC, and now y'all do it. You'll sell out tickets every time. What does that mean to y'all?
Well, it's tremendous, you know, and it's about the village that Joe Oliva, our athletic director, has allowed us to surround ourselves with, and the great job of Jay Clark, my associate head coach, and Bob Moore, and Ashley Claire Kearney, and everybody that contributes to the success of our athletes. You got to have the village. You got to have the right people around you. When that starts to happen, then you have a tremendous amount of success. But everybody's got to be like-minded, and they've got to have their heart in the right place. And I think that we've had that success because all of those things have come together.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's something that's so unique about LSU's campus is that everyone is kind of all in for everything, which is a really amazing thing to be a part of.
Yeah, how about this? I mean, look at that sea of purple out there. It's fabulous.
Look at this. And it's 2 hours until game time, and people are packing up in the purple and gold.
That's right.
I love it. Gives me chills. So what is one meet in particular that y'all are looking forward to this year? Is there anything in particular that y'all are kind of like, okay, this is the one?
I don't know.
I mean, definitely SECs, and the fact that we're hosting it is so cool, right in our backyard. So the support of that and seeing the crowd.
Smoothie King Arena in New Orleans, that's going to be amazing. But to host the regional championships in the PMAC, which I think is one of the finest venues in America, nobody does a better job than LSU in creating the excitement and the enthusiasm that our fans bring to our events. But as far as dual meets, and you know, we've got to beat Florida, we've got to beat Alabama, we've got to beat Georgia. You know, so there's not any one meet that has more emphasis than the other.
Exactly.
It's, you know, strap it up, let's go. Every day we've got to prepare for the tough competition that we have on Fridays.
And that's kind of the same mindset that Coach O has with his players. You know, take each game one at a time. I mean, you're a big LSU football fan. You have your boys jersey on.
My number 10.
Stephen Sullivan. But what are y'all's game predictions for today? Y'all have anything?
We're going to win, but I want us to play with intensity from the beginning all the way to the end. I felt like we didn't have that intensity for Southeastern.
I feel like you've heard this before.
She just loves college football. It's so funny.
I want us to play hard, tough football the entire game and dominate, because we've got some real challenges down the road, and every time that we can give more people an opportunity to play in this kind of arena, it's only going to make us better down the road.
Absolutely. Game predictions, McKenna?
It's a go Tigers. We're going to win.
It's a go Tigers. I want our defense to dominate. I don't want any scoring. I'd like to see a lot of passing. We know we can run the ball. We've got to be able to. We've got to deliver the ball. We've got to deliver the ball to our receivers. He's got to be exact in his delivery.
She's so serious.
I'm just saying.
I love that. I mean, go Tigers to that. And we'll have more on those receivers and more on Dee Dee's man, Stephen Sullivan, coming up on Tiger TV's Tailgate Show.
And y'all do a great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll be right back.
Braden Fehoko has come a long way since leaving his home state of Hawaii. Take a look at how his roots has influenced how he is as a man on and off the field. Tech transfer junior defensive end Braden Fehoko couldn't be more excited to finally suit up and play for LSU.
It's been awesome. I mean, to sit out last year, I had to be really patient. I had to just really sit back and learn. It's hard, watching and knowing that you can't play, and then, to finally be able to play this year with my teammates and play for the coaches, it's been awesome.
Offense sells tickets and defense wins games. But Fehoko knows that communication is key, especially in Death Valley.
A lot more communication. It's going to be loud. They have us at number 6 right now, so, I'm assuming there's going to be a lot more people at the game on Saturday than, the first home game against Southeastern.
Fehoko's 6'4", 291-pound frame isn't just for tackling on the field, but Coach O and his teammates look to him for another role.
Personally, I have a leadership role amongst not only myself, but amongst my peers. And I think that's what Coach O does so well is he appoints leaders in certain rooms, and so if I'm not keeping myself to a certain standard, then the young guys are looking at that.
After a huge play, you can't help but notice Fehoko's tattoo on his right arm. But it's not just any tattoo, because his came from his homeland, Hawaii.
You won't see any other, Polynesian, Hawaiian with this exact tattoo, because it's very specific to my family. This is the tattoo that my father and my older brothers carried before me, and when I graduated high school, I became a man, moved on to college, I was gifted with this.
Fehoko can't wait to play in front of his family and friends this Saturday against Louisiana Tech and make them proud. For Tiger TV, I'm Kayla Thomas. As one of the leaders on defense, Fehoko has not been a disappointment to LSU fans. And as I said, he's come a long way since leaving his hometown of Hawaii. But we have a lot of LSU players who are actually from out of state.
Yeah, and absolutely.
I just really think it speaks to LSU's program, like it has value.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that people from all over the country want to come to LSU, that really is an amazing thing. And I had the opportunity to actually talk to some baseball players from the University of Hawaii. When they came here, they were just in awe, like scared of the crawfish, just like freaking out about the weather. So it was great. It's really awesome to see that Braden Fehoko is enjoying his time down here.
Yeah, Coach O normally, puts his focus on, in-state players and everything, but normally it's our out-of-state players that, do the most for us. One of my favorite, out-of-state players is Joe Burrow. I mean, he has a great story. I mean, sitting behind J.T. Barrett at Ohio State for 3-4 years, however long it was, and now coming into LSU and proving, hey, look, I can do this. I can be the guy. I can do what it takes to. I have what it takes to win.
Exactly. He could be a boy from the boot.
Right. Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. Like I said, he's an Ohio native, and he's actually a graduate transfer from Ohio State, and he actually has a lot of his friends and family in Ohio cheering for LSU now, so it's kind of funny. So
yeah, it's so awesome to see. Like, there were videos of people in Ohio wearing Burrow jerseys and wearing LSU jerseys, and they probably have no other ties to Louisiana except Joe Burrow. So that's so awesome that they were able to support him from such a far away from home.
I agree.
Yeah,
exactly.
And as an out-of-state student, like I told Dee Dee, it's hard coming down here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's nice to have that support from home.
It's like a whole different culture you have to merge into.
Exactly. It's like Louisiana's an entirely different country. So let's take a look at Joe Burrow's experiences as an out-of-state student at LSU.
That really meant a lot to me. To know that I have support from my home state, support from my old teammates. I have love for everybody there, and it feels good to have love from them too.
That's special that even from hundreds of miles away, Ohio State fans are still cheering for Joe Burrow?
I know, and like I said, I'm an out-of-state student, and it was kind of a difficult transition. Obviously, I'm not the starting quarterback for LSU, right. So we've had a little bit of a different experience, but I'm sure Joe Burrow is still feeling the love down here in the Bayou.
And it helps that he's good friends with Nick Brissett and everything.
Exactly,
so.
that doesn't hurt.
Right.
So coming up, we have a little bit more about how the Tigers kept their sights set on this weekend's game and not getting too caught up with the Auburn win.
And we have some of the best upsets and games from last week. Don't go anywhere. The Tiger TV Tailgate Show will be right back.
Hey guys, welcome back. We talked a lot about how leadership plays such a huge role in this team, and there's no better teammate and leader than Devin White. That guy is always hyping up his teammates, holding them to a higher standard. So here he is, speaking volumes of his friend and fellow defensive player, Rashard Lawrence, giving him a little constructive criticism along the way as well.
He always has the best game. I mean, he good. I ain't gonna lie. He is a real good player, but I don't know if he had his best game. I feel like he still got a little more he can do. He haven't peaked yet, but he's like the best player. Him and Greedy Williams on the defensive side of the ball. So I'm not surprised at all. I just want him to keep playing good because when Rashard play, the defense does great things.
And he's even repaired some of the rocky relationships that he started off with. I mean, him and Foster Moreau started off as enemies, and now they're actually really close friends because they really kind of quarreled in camp.
Oh, I already think Big Fall. He already know. Me and Fafa got, very close since the season started because fall count. I told you I hated him. But now we're really close. So, yeah, thank you, Foster, for all you do.
If it's any indication that these players have experienced Brumfield's reaction to seeing Nick Brissett at one of the player interviews recently. Take a look.
Thank y'all. Who is that? Is that you? That is you.
At player interviews Monday, Garrett Brumfield was messing around with all the other players that were being interviewed and everything, and he's making faces and just trying to make it laugh. And you gotta love how close that makes the team and everything, to know that they can mess around and joke with each other.
Absolutely, and if these guys truly are a team, you can see it in their chemistry, like we saw at player interviews. They're just messing around with one another. They win as a team. Hopefully, they won't lose as a team anytime soon, but we'll see how things go throughout the season.
But some teams have faced losses, some earlier in the season than expected. Let's take a look at some of the craziest games from last week.
One of my favorite stories from last week, Alabama Ole Miss. What a game. Ole Miss scores on the first drive. Huge score by Metcalf. And then Alabama responds as they always do. They responded in a big way.
Yeah, and it really didn't come back for Ole Miss after that, as they would only put up that touchdown for the rest of the game, I'm pretty sure. But, wow, just the performance by Alabama's offense is just insane. Tua Tagovailoa is an outstanding quarterback. Every now and then he'll make a mistake or two, but he's a very good playmaker.
And if I've seen anything from Alabama, it's that if you have any holes in your defense, they will find it, and they will attack it throughout the game. I think one of the announcers said that Ole Miss had a porous defense, and I totally agree.
Now we're looking at the fake fair catch from North Texas against Arkansas. This is honestly one of my favorite trick plays I have ever seen because Arkansas had absolutely no clue.
That's one of my favorite things about college football is you seriously never know what is going to happen. Expect the unexpected. And a fake punt return, that's something I don't think I've ever seen before.
No, I've never seen that.
That was almost like a little Mad Hatter type deal when Westbrook was a coach,
Exactly. Those fake trick plays that we always used to run against Florida, that's exactly what it was. I think he caught the entire Arkansas defense by surprise.
Yeah, and North Texas was going on to actually beat the hell out of Arkansas that game. So, I mean, it's good for North Texas, but it doesn't really give the SEC really great ratings there.
Exactly, yeah. And if you bet on UNC to beat Arkansas by that much, and if you would have guessed that Alabama Ole Miss score, go to Vegas because your luck is way better than mine.
That's right.
We'll be back with the Tiger TV Tailgate Show in just a minute. The players are coming down Victory Hill. What a day this is. Y'all, talk about this environment.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's amazing. I mean, look at the outfits they're wearing. It's like a fashion show,
And there's so many people and fans out here to see him walk down the hill. It's such a great tradition, watching everybody come down, especially Coach O and all the players. It's awesome.
This is one of my absolute favorite LSU traditions. Just look at all of the people out there in their purple and gold. People have their phones out taking pictures of them like they're celebrities. This fan base is like a family.
Yeah, it gives me like goosebumps just looking at all this, being here.
It's really comparable to some pro fan bases.
Absolutely.
So what are y'all's predictions for the LSU Louisiana Tech game today?
I'm saying 33-17.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's pretty precise score. Why do you say that?
I'm just saying it just because I know it's going to be a challenge, even though I would like us just to run over them. But you never know. Louisiana Tech, you know, they're like the underdogs. So
I totally agree. And Louisiana Tech has not defeated LSU since 1904, before cars were invented.
Right.
So we're trying to keep that tradition going. Well, from all of us team here at Tiger TV, thank you so much for sharing our tailgate with you. Go Tigers to that. We'll see you next week on LSU Tiger TV's Tailgate Show.